Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, I have a special guest with me this afternoon. Happy Friday. I hope all is well. I'm Marnique West, the president of the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. And I have with us today Yolanda Jackson, DBE coordinator from Augusta, Georgia Compliance Department. So I want to be sure that you guys, first, when you come into the room, you already know, share out the broadcast, tag the local business owners. We want them to participate in this program, but I'm going to do some housekeeping first, make sure everything is live on our end, and then I'll go ahead and get started. So if you want to join the organization, you can go directly to our website at www.mygabc.org. Again, that's www.mygabc.org. We do offer monthly membership right now. We also have yearly membership and so forth. And then tomorrow, we have our business flood that is happening in Super Shine Car Wash in Augusta, Georgia. The leadership team and membership team will be out. They'll be answering any questions from business owners, but we want you to go out and support this locally owned Black business in Augusta, Georgia. Go get your car wash. They will be out there from 10 to 12. A lot of great initiatives are coming out from the chamber. And then June, we have a special announcement for what we'll be doing for the month of June, but I'm not going to say anything because the team will get me. So I'm going to leave that for the team and all the announcements they'll have coming for you here soon. Okay, so we're going to get right into this conversation and into this presentation today. Ms. Yolanda Jackson is a native Georgian, and is the DBE LSBOP coordinator with Augusta Richmond County. She is also the founder CEO of Curry Consulting and Management LLC, a business consulting firm. Ms. Jackson has over 15 years of experience in DBE and LSB programs. She is also a published author and a disabled veteran, having served 10 years in the U.S. Army with a tour during Operational Desert Storm, Desert Shield. Since being diagnosed with PTSD in 2015, Yolanda has become a strong advocate for mental health, illness, especially mental health as it relates to our veterans. Ms. Jackson received a master's degree in business administration and her bachelor's of science degree in healthcare management from the University of Phoenix, where she is now a doctorate candidate to receive her PhD in business administration. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that doctorate program is I have a lot of friends who do it right now. So hats off to you. She's a member of the Georgia chapter of NIGP, the Government Procurement Association of GPAG, the National Association of Professional Women, and a member of the Atlanta Women's Club. Yolanda is happily married to Frank Jackson. Together, they have 6 children and 7 grandchildren. She enjoys reading, spending time with her family, traveling, and living life to the fullest. She lives her life standing on the promise of God that when He leads you to it, He will also see you through it. Her motto in life is 3 simple words: believe, achieve, and receive. She believes that your dreams should be encouragement and motivation. And when those dreams align with God's plan for your life, you will be successful. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. And I did not know you had such a large family. So hats off to you.
I do. Yes. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be joining you all today via Facebook Live for all of our business owners. So again, I want to say a huge thank you to Ronick and to the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce for having me on today to talk about a certification process. Many of you business owners have probably heard of all different types of certifications that you can receive for your company. And so today I'm on here to highlight the certification process that the city of Augusta or Augusta Richmond County has in place for our local small businesses. So
okay. And then once you're ready for me to add it to the stream, if you have your PowerPoint ready, I'll go ahead and add it.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I did just want to say a couple of things before we get into our PowerPoint. As Ronick stated, I've been doing this for well over 15 years, probably closer to 20 years now. Prior to coming to the city of Augusta, I have also worked with the Georgia Department of Transportation, where I was the senior DBE coordinator there before leaving GDOT and deciding to go out and learn a little bit about construction on the other side of it. So one of the things I want to point out really quickly is it's important for you to understand the difference in the types of certification. So don't know if most of you have heard of this, but typically there are two major types. You have what's called your race and gender conscious programs, and those are programs where you have to be a member of a specific class or female in order to be eligible for those certifications. So that's going to be certifications, I'm sorry, such as the DBE certification, which is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certifications, any of your minority certifications, your female business certifications. Those are what's considered race and gender conscious. What we have at the City of Augusta and Augusta Richmond County and other organizations have as well is a race and gender neutral program. And what that means is basically the eligibility requirements is strictly based off of the size standard of your company. And that being what has been set by the SBA. So I always like to start out making sure that you understand the difference between the types of certifications. And a lot of times people also misunderstand that your local small business certifications, because they are race and gender neutral, typically they don't include, eligibility requirements such as veteran-owned businesses and things like that. So again, I like to start out by making sure that you understand that I am available for questions. I know Ronik is going to share my contact information. So if you all should have questions later on, or, you think of something that you want to ask, I am available to help answer your questions. So with that being said, Ronik, we'll go right into our presentation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. So I'll go ahead and share your screen once you let me know you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Looks like you're ready. And I'll be in the background. I'm still here.
Okay. Good. Excuse me. I got something going on with my throat this morning. So our presentation, or my presentation today, is, like I said, it's talking about the certification process for Augusta Richmond County. And again, you see that we have a local small business opportunity program. And so today's presentation is how to become certified. And this certification is becoming certified with Augusta Richmond County. Our local small business opportunity program is an ordinance that is in place, and it was actually approved by the mayor and the commission back in February of 2008. So the ordinance is what governs our local small business opportunity program. In 2011, the ordinance was amended to what it is right now. And so simply put, section 1-10-123 basically gives you the background of our local small business opportunity program, which you will hear me refer to as our LSBOP. And so basically, it states that Augusta, Georgia is firmly committed to the principles of equal opportunity, and keeping with those principles, they set forth a program and established a mechanism for developing, approving, and then implementing procedures by which our local small business enterprises shall be identified, informed, and educated regarding opportunities to supply goods, to provide general services, and also construction services required by Augusta, Georgia. So that's just a snippet of the ordinance. But again, if you visit our page on our website, there is actually a link there to the actual ordinance. So you can visit our page anytime if you want to read the ordinance. So we'll talk about next the intent and the purpose of our program. And so our LSBOP was established to encourage equal opportunity, diversity, and equity in Augusta, Georgia's contracting and procurement activities. And as I stated before we started the presentation, our program is race and gender neutral. So it is doing these things in a race and gender neutral manner. The program promotes fair and equal opportunities for all local small businesses that meet our requirements for certification, and it is specifically intended for the encouragement of local small businesses, will allow for the development and growth of such businesses to increase competition for construction and procurement opportunities. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the responsibilities are, what my responsibilities are as it relates to the LSBOP. Number one is to provide a level playing field for public contracting opportunities to local small businesses in Augusta, Georgia. Also, to provide opportunity and access to public contracting as either a prime contractor or a subcontractor by setting participation goals on contracts funded by state and local dollars with the estimated value of more than $100,000. So basically, on our projects that are funded by local or state funds, if that project is over $100,000, then our department, specifically my responsibility, is to review those projects, review that information, and then set a goal on a local small business goal on those projects where it is eligible. Also, my responsibility is to provide business resources and referrals that will assist our local small businesses to bid successfully on Augusta, Georgia contracts. We also provide an up-to-date local small business listing for all Augusta, Georgia contracts that are state and local funded. We provide this list in general. So every time a business is certified in our program, your business information becomes a part of our directory. And that directory is found on our website, on our department page. There's a link. That list of certified firms is always reflective, and it is always current and up to date. So if you were to go through the process and get certified today, your business information will show up on that list of certified vendors within 24 hours. We also provide local small business participation contract monitoring. So essentially what happens is, if there's a goal placed on the project and we have our certified local small businesses working on that project, then it's also my responsibility to actually monitor those projects to just make sure that our local small businesses are indeed working, and to ensure that the utilization of them is being met by that prime. So overall, how does the LSBOP look? So number one is certification. We certify firms that meet our criteria, our eligibility criteria, which is also found on our department page on the website. Our participation goals, I talked about this, that we evaluate contracts for participation and for adding local small business goals. And then the monitoring piece, which I just talked about, and we actually evaluate that participation. So that's kind of the long and short of the program. I also wanted to include in here, I find this a lot, but I wanted to include to make sure that everybody understands the difference between bids. So what you see here is the first one, which is an invitation to bid, also referred to as an ITB. Most of you that have probably had the opportunity to bid on projects may be familiar with this, but for those who have not, I think that this is a good way for you to understand the difference between them. So an invitation to bid is focused on pricing, and not on ideas or concepts. So if it's an invitation to bid, we're looking for the lowest bidder. Also, the contractor or supplier with the lowest bid is awarded the contract. It's the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. And what that means is you're responsive in terms of you have submitted all of the required documentation or all of those things that are required of that particular bid. And you've also been responsive, meaning that you have submitted your bid in a timely fashion. So it's not just the lowest bid, it's the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. The next one is RFP, or request for proposal. Your RFPs really outline the bidding process and the contract terms, and it provides you guidance on how the bid should be formatted and presented. So typically with RFPs, they're looking for a request for proposal. So you're going to submit all of the information that is outlined in that RFP, and your fee is the very last consideration. So typically with RFPs, when you get the instructions, they're going to tell you to submit your fee in a separate sealed envelope. RFPs typically go before an evaluation team, and they will evaluate those proposals based on whatever criteria they have set. And typically your fee is the last consideration. So that's pretty much the process for an RFP. It is an evaluation process, as I said, and cost is typically the last factor. And then next you have what's called an RFQ, or request for qualification. The RFQs list the requirements of a project and request that the contractor submit statements of interest, including a demonstration of their ability to complete the project. So you will find agencies who will put out a RFQ because they're interested in finding out those contractors who are qualified, and they will build a list of pre-qualified firms. So what will happen, for example, if there's a construction project that's coming out, and they have a list of qualified firms, they can choose that when they submit that bid, when they submit that ITB, that ITB is only going to go to those companies who are on that pre-qualified list. So you'll see it is a pre-qualification tool used by agencies that are in the process of collecting bids for a project. So again, you have your ITB, which is an invitation to bid, where cost is a factor. You have your RFP, which is a request for proposal, where they're really looking at what your eligibility. Cost is the last factor in that. And then the RFQ is a request for qualifications, and they are looking to find pre-qualified crimes for future ITBs. RFQs are also used to gather vendor information from multiple companies to generate a pool of prospects. So again, it goes back to requesting your qualifications and building a list of pre-qualified vendors that they can send these ITBs out to. In terms of contracting opportunities with Augusta Richmond County, there are construction services and supplies, and as you can see, it's things like general construction, electrical, flooring, HVAC, painting, plumbing, water and sewer line. Those are just some examples of construction services and supplies. Those areas that you see in the red, those are areas where we really need more local small businesses who can provide a service in those areas. So we are in desperate need of electrical contractors, HVAC contractors, plumbing contractors, and contractors that do water and sewer line construction. And then, of course, there's professional services, which include your consulting services for things such as training, design services, marketing, medical services, studies. So we procure all types of services and products, but we wanted to give you an opportunity to see, the types of areas that we have available and what we are in desperate need of. So if anybody out there is listening, is into electrical or HVAC or plumbing, and you're in the Augusta Richmond County area, we are in desperate need of your services. So I want to encourage you to take a look at our process and submit an application for our program. So we're going to move right into how you get certified with us. So the first step is the compliance department. We are your internal navigator. So any questions you have about our certification process, you want to reach out to our compliance department, specifically me directly. There is also a young lady who assists us. She is our compliance technician. Her information is at the end of this, but her name is Miss Swanette Jones. So between myself and Miss Jones, if you have questions about the certification process, you would reach out to us. Also understand that certification only entitles your firm to be included in the local small business opportunity program directory. Certification does not entitle you to being selected for a bid or being selected for a project. It is still a competitive process. You still have to go through that process. The benefit, though, would be when a prime is looking for certified local small businesses to meet whatever goal has been placed on the project. Then, of course, if you are certified in our program, you're going to be on that list of vendors that they can use. Your firm's information will be available to all contractors bidding on Augusta Richmond County projects, and that goes back to that LSBOP directory, which I told you that you will be listed on within 24 hours of being certified in our program. This is extremely important, and this is not just for our program, but it's for any certification type out there that you might see. Placement on a directory list is not a guarantee of solicitation for informal or formal invitations to bids or to RFPs. So just because you are on the directory, that's not a guarantee that you're going to be solicited for formal invitations or bids. The only time you will be solicited will be if that project has a local small business goal on it and they have to reach out to those firms on our list. So just understand that being placed on the list is not going to guarantee you anything. So just remember when you're bidding on projects or submitting your proposals, it is still a competitive process and you have to meet those guidelines. So I want to talk about the eligibility requirements for our program. I want to pause here for a second and remind you that there are different certifications available out there with different agencies. When you are seeking certification for your firm, please make sure that you understand what the eligibility requirements are for that agency's program. And those requirements definitely vary from agency to agency. So you want to make sure you understand what the requirements are. Our requirements may not necessarily be the same requirements for the city of Atlanta or for Clayton County or for DeKalb County. So make sure you know what they are. So in terms of the eligibility requirements for Augusta Richmond County, your business has to be located and operating in Richmond County for at least 6 months prior to you submitting your application for certification. So that is one of our main eligibility requirements. You also have to be in possession of a valid business license from Richmond County for at least 6 months prior to submitting your application for registration. So again, you have to be located and operating in Richmond County and have a valid business license from Richmond County for a minimum of 6 months before you can submit your application for our certification process. The applicant firm must be 51% owned by one or more of the individuals submitting the application. And that applicant firm owner or owners must have maintained 51% ownership for at least 1 year. So the firm must be at least 51% owned by the person or persons who are going to be submitting the application. The applicant firm owner or owners must be a citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident of the United States. You will find this particular requirement pretty much the same across all certification types, as well as the 51% owned. So regardless of whether you're doing a certification application for Augusta Richmond County or the DBE or the City of Atlanta, typically those two requirements are going to be the same. Another one for us, your firm's 3-year average gross receipts must not exceed 1.5 million. And then the personal net worth of the applicant, firm owner or owners must not exceed $750,000. So for example, when you apply for a certification with us, you are required to submit 3 years of personal tax returns and 3 years of your corporate tax returns. If you file, if you're an LLC, for example, and you file your business return with your personal return, then your personal return will serve as both personal and corporate, but it is a requirement. And what we do is we look at that 3-year average, and then if that average is under 1.5 million, then you are eligible to continue forward. As far as the personal net worth, the only way we can evaluate personal net worth is with the submission of your personal taxes. So you will have to submit a personal net worth statement, and we will evaluate that. Now, I will want to say that when you are completing the personal net worth statements, whether it's for our program or for the DBE program, there's a lot of information you have to submit. But what you have to remember is that any assets in the business that you are seeking certification for is not counted. And also your personal residence is not counted. So if you have other businesses, those assets will count. And if you have other homes outside of your personal residence, such as vacation homes and things like that, those will count towards the review of your personal net worth. So I do like to make sure that people understand that. We do want you to list your personal residence, but we don't count it when we are evaluating your personal net worth. So one quick program update for our application process. We recently launched, as of April 1st, an online certification process. And so for any of you out there that may be interested in applying for our local small business opportunity program certification, you are now able to apply online. We will continue to accept paper applications as well, but we wanted to offer an online process for those who are interested. Now, there are documents that are required, whether you do a manual application or whether you do it online. Those documents will still have to be uploaded as a part of that application process. But I just wanted you all to know that we do have an online certification application process, and I'm excited about it. We've had a few applications come in that way, and it's wonderful. Everything else still works the same. You will still be added to the list within 24 hours of being approved for certification. So if any of you tech savvy people out there prefer doing an online application, we have that available for you. This is the web link to get into our online process, and I will show you kind of what that looks like. But if you go to our web page, you're going to find 3 ways that you can get access to that online process. There are several links on the page itself that you can actually just click, and it'll take you to that software program where you can do your application. But this is the web address for that. I wanted to kind of give you guys a visual of what it would look like once you start that process. So this is the landing page. Once you put in that web address, it takes you to this landing page. And you'll see here, if you want to apply for certification, I have it highlighted there that you would click that apply for or renew certification. Once you do that, it's going to take you to a screen that looks exactly like this. If it's a new certification, you're going to choose my firm is not currently certified, and you want to create an account. So that's what you would choose for that. Once you choose that, it's going to give you an opportunity to check and see if your information already exists in the system. The particular system that we use is called B2G Now. There are agencies all over the nation who use this system as well. But if you weren't sure and you just wanted to check, you could put in your tax ID number and you can look it up, and it will tell you whether or not, or it will return information if your tax ID number is already in there. If not, you will just move forward and complete the information in Section 2 and Section 3, and then follow the instructions from there. So in terms of other program updates that we've made, I want to go over those, and these would be more for those of you who might want to send in a manual application. So we'll talk about those. When I started with Augusta Richmond County as the DBE coordinator, which was probably almost 2 years ago, my first task was to take a look at the program itself and determine whether or not we could make some changes to improve the program, make some changes to make sure that we are collecting the correct information to be able to make a complete determination based on your eligibility. So one of the things that we did when I got there was we changed we updated the application process. So you will see if you do a manual application, there is a new supporting documents checklist. That's the picture that you see on the left-hand side. And then the actual application was also updated. And that's just a picture of the first page of the application on the right. What was not being done before that we do now when you submit an application is called an on-site visit. An on-site visit is required as a part of your certification application. However, due to COVID, we have not been doing on-site visits. But once we get back to normal, we will start those up again. And this is just a picture of the first page of the on-site inspection. So basically what we do is once we've received all of the documents and we've gone over those and you meet the eligibility requirements to move forward, we set up a date and a time where we will actually come to your location to physically see your business. And it's the same, even if it's a home-based business, we will come to your home. And then there are some questions that we ask you when we get there for the actual on-site. If you have any type of equipment that you use, for example, and I'm just using this as an example, a landscaping company, if you have equipment that you use, we'll take pictures of your equipment. If you are a trucking company and you have trucks, we will take pictures of your trucks. And all of that will become a part of the on-site visit process, and it will become a part of your record. But on-site visits were added and are required as a part of the process. Once you are certified with us, we also implemented what's called an annual affidavit of no change. So once you are certified with us, your certification is valid for 2 years. But on that first year anniversary, you will be required to complete this affidavit of no change. The affidavit of no change can be completed manually, which this is a copy of what that form looks like. And also, if you do an online application. The system will collect all of your information, including the date that you were certified. And 1 year from that date, the system will send you a notification that it's time for you to complete your annual update. So you will get that notification again electronically if you do a online application. And if you do a paper application, you will get that as well. One of the things that we did do was for all of our firms that are currently certified, their information has been put into the online system. So that system is also sending emails to everybody. So all notifications are coming electronically. So let's say you've gone through the process, you've met all the requirements, and you're now certified and you're on our list of local small businesses that are certified in our program. So you are now a LSBOP with Augusta Richmond County. So now what? The very first thing I want to encourage you, and it's whether you are certified in our program or any other program with any other agency, keep your certification or your registration. You cannot be used on any future contracts to meet local small business goals if you allow your certification to expire. One requirement when we place a goal on a project, when they go to look at that list of certified firms, your firm must be certified at the time the project is awarded. So if you lose your certification expires, and you are not certified at the time of award, you will not be eligible to be used on that project. So it's important that you keep your certifications updated. And typically, all it costs you is a little bit of time to get a little bit of paperwork together and submit that in order for your certification to continue. So again, I can't stress enough, make sure you're keeping your certifications up to date. Also, if you have address changes, email changes, phone number changes, any of those type of changes, make sure that you're keeping that information current, because we communicate by email. If the email bounces back, then we will place a phone call to you. If the phone call doesn't work, then we don't have any way of getting in contact with you. We will send something out by snail mail, which is through the postal service. But please make sure that you keep your email addresses and your phone numbers up to date as well, so that you can make sure that you're getting all of the information. And that was my second one, keep your contact information. This is how contractors will contact you. So make sure you're keeping that contact information up to date. This is a big one. Certification, whether it's with Augusta Richmond County, DBE, or whoever, certification is not an entitlement to work. I said this earlier, it is still a competitive bidding process, but you would be surprised at how many business owners think that just because they are certified, they're automatically going to get to work on projects. It does not work that way. Being certified gets you on a list of recognized vendors that can be used on projects if that project has some sort of goal on it, but it is not an entitlement to work. This one, please attend any workshops or trainings that these agencies have. It is for your benefit, even if it's information that you might already know or you think you know. You will walk away with something that you didn't know before. So we have been stressing right now to all of our businesses that are certified in our program that they need to be attending these workshops and these trainings, because typically the questions that we get from them is something that was covered in a workshop or a training. So make sure that you can do that. We understand that most of you as small business owners, you're doing everything. You're doing your administrative piece, you're out in the field working, you're preparing bids and estimates, you're doing everything. But if you can send somebody to represent your firm at a workshop or at a training, that's a good idea as well. So if you can't come as the business owner, try your best to send someone to at least get the information for you and bring that information back to you. So I'm going to switch gears now. We've wrapped up talking about our certification process and want to talk a little bit now about how do you do business in Augusta? How do you do business with Augusta Richmond County? How do you find out what's available with Augusta Richmond County? So here you see a screenshot of our procurement department's page. So you see our web address in the top left-hand corner. And once you get there, you can click on departments. And once you click under departments, you will see the departments listed in alphabetical order. If you click on the procurement department, it will bring you to this page. And you'll see visit the procurement web page weekly. In order for you to see what's coming up. Here is what's called ArcBid. This particular system that the procurement office uses has all the information about projects, about bid items. So if the project is bid item, 12-234, you can go to ArcBid, put that bid item number in, and you can get all of the information about that particular project. If it's a project that you are bidding on, or if it's a project that you submitted quotes to a potential prime contractor on and you want to see more information about it, this is where you would go to look up that project. So you want to monitor ArcBid as often as possible. Next is you want to register with DemandStar. So DemandStar is a third-party agency that the procurement department uses, and I believe it's a one-time fee of $25, but you go through the process and register with DemandStar, and based on the information that you put in, specifically based on your either your NAICS codes or your NIGP codes, whenever something comes out that matches the information that you have put in, you will automatically receive an email regarding that particular solicitation. So I would advise you to register with DemandStar so that you can automatically get emails and get that information ahead rather than having to try to call the procurement department to see what's coming up. It's a lot easier and better if you just register with DemandStar. As you can see here, there is a link on here where you can track the bid list report. That's going to be the report that should list all of the bids for the current year, and procurement responsibility is to keep that updated. Sometimes it is updated, sometimes it's not. So that's why I'm saying it will be beneficial for you to register with DemandStar, pay the $25, register with DemandStar. That way you won't miss anything. So that's pretty much how you would do business with Augusta. You want to find out what projects are coming up. So again, this is where you can find opportunities. We talked about ArcBid on the procurement department's page. We talked about DemandStar, registering through DemandStar so you can automatically get those emails when something is coming up that matches the information that you put in. Once you are certified in our program, we have something that's called the Compliance Connection. Ms. Swanette Jones sends that out weekly via email to all of our certified vendors. And in that compliance connection will be information on any upcoming projects, will be information on any upcoming workshops. So any new information we have to send out, you will receive that in the compliance connection. And then also in our office, we have a resource center. We keep copies of all of the bids that are open to the public. We keep a copy of those bids in our resource center. So our resource center is free for you to use, and it's free for you to view. So anytime you want to maybe come in and take a look at the specifications for a bid, you are more than welcome to do that. We just ask that you give us a call to try to schedule a day that you can come in and take a look at those bids. But we do keep them in our resource department. Some additional resources that you probably already know about, but here's some additional resources we have. Of course, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, has additional resources. The Georgia Department of Transportation, because they are the ones that do the DBE certification. There's also GDOT Supportive Services Consultants. So for all of the state-funded projects, GDOT has a supportive services consultant on that side of the house, and they also have a supportive services consultant on the DBE side for those projects that are federally funded, but they are available too. The CSRA Business League is an additional resource. UGA has a small business development center in Augusta. That is an additional resource. And of course, the Greater Augusta, Black Chamber of Commerce with Run It is a major resource for you as well. In terms of additional certifications that you might want to think about, you have the DBE, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Certification, or the Airport Concession, which is the ACDBE. Those certifications are governed by the Georgia Department of Transportation. So if you wanted to apply for DBE or ACDBE certification, you would have to apply directly with the Georgia Department of Transportation. Now, as the DBE coordinator for Augusta, Richmond County, and having spent the better part of 10 years with GDOT as their senior DBE coordinator, if you are interested in that certification and you have questions about the process, I am your resource. Please understand this is a federal certification and they are very strict on their eligibility requirements and on the documents that are required when you submit your application. One of the things that I did, if you take a look at the checklist for our program, is I pretty much mirrored our checklist to the checklist of the DBE. So most of the documents that you would submit for certification in our program would be the same type of documents that you would submit for DBE. So again, if you're interested in DBE certification, you have to apply through the Georgia Department of Transportation. I can go over your application with you, but again, you would have to submit it directly to GDOT. Then you also have the National Minority Supplier Development Council. They do minority business enterprise certifications. And then you have, of course, the SBA. The SBA has several certifications available. They have a small business certification through the SBA. They have a small disadvantaged business certification, so a SBD, or SDB, it should say, through the SBA. They also have the veteran-owned small business certification. They have a service disabled veteran-owned small business certification. So for those veterans that might be listening and you're wondering, what type of certification can I get as a veteran? you want to get the certifications with the SBA, they have those veteran programs. They also have a women business enterprise. They have a women-owned small business enterprise. They have the 8A certification, and of course, the Hub Zone program. So there are tons of certifications available out there that you can get. Please do your research. Please do your research, and please make sure that you are seeking certifications that are going to be beneficial to you. In addition to these certifications, there are certifications out there through other agencies that may charge you a fee to go through that certification process. Well, these certifications that are listed here are all free. Please make sure that you check and see if the certification that you're seeking or you're thinking about getting that you have to pay a fee for, check and see if that certification is going to be beneficial for you. Because when you start to bid on projects that deal with you having your firm having to be certified, they're very specific on what type of certification you need. So before you spend any money to get these certifications, make sure that you understand what the benefit of those certifications is going to be. So we're at the end of the presentation. Here you see my contact information along with Miss Swanette Jones, who I talked about earlier, who is our administrative compliance technician. She works very closely with me on the with the local small business opportunity program. So pretty much if you can't get a hold of me, you can get a hold of Miss Jones, and if she can't answer your question, she will get your question to me so we can make sure that we get an answer for you. So I hope that this presentation was helpful. I hope that it was beneficial. I hope that you learned something today that you may not have known before about certifications. And so, Ronick, at this time, I'll turn it back over to you. I don't know if we have any questions that may have come in.
Yep. I was gonna say, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. We do have a couple people that are live with us today. Okay. But I will also put, right now at this moment, I know a lot of people will watch this after we're live. So I will drop Yolanda's information in the comments as well. If you have any questions now that while we're live, go ahead and drop them. And then also, she gave out so much information. So I just want to recap really quick. One part about it is that once you get your certification, it is still more steps to take to secure a bid. So I can't stress that enough. If you heard, we've already had GDOT on this year. We're hearing from the members and the non-members in the community that you guys want to learn more about doing business with the government. We've covered all these workshops already as a chamber. So now we're just doing our due diligence and going back through them and doing them again so you can get this pertinent information. All the resources are out there for you guys to be able to take advantage and become a certified business and to do business with the local government, the federal government, and so forth. And we also are constantly sending out information if you're a member. And just so you know that the SBA has opened up for you to actually get a women-owned certified business on your own. So they have a new portal that you can use that on. We're on with the SBA almost weekly at this point on a federal level as the chamber, as we are getting things done and out to the community. So I'm kind of leading on the SBA through the Southern region. We work with 6 states right now throughout the region. And so I'm kind of the lead in the chamber, the greatest like Chamber of Commerce is. So we have a lot of SBA information, a lot of things at your fingertips. We will continue to get that information out to the community. I love that you guys got an online program now for LSBOP.
Yes, me too.
So me being a virtual person for over 8 years, I'm not going to tell y'all my age, but just know that it's been a minute. Okay. I've been in the virtual world and I was so excited to see that. So guys, take advantage of that. That is huge.
Yes, it is.
I know you guys worked hard to do that. So just hats off to the Augusta Complaince Department and all the hard work you did to definitely pull that program online. I'm such an online person, so I love it. And I know what it takes to do those things. So I wanted to give you props for that. So that is huge for the community. Also, just want to put on there that about what you stressed about. Be sure that what you're paying for, you understand what you're doing, because most things you can actually do for free.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware that we've had plenty of people talk through the workshops and trainings we had through the chamber. And a lot of these services are free and already they're employed already by the local government, state government, or federal government to help you through these programs. And so then we're here to also assist you to get those connections and help you through those administrative tasks as well, as we look to kind of get some technical assistance programs stood up more just to supplement those things in our CSRA area. So we're looking to do more as an organization as well, so we can really help with those things, because we are hearing from the community and you guys really want to touch hard on this topic. So we're here to help you and to get those things out. But this is part of it. We did GDOT a couple months ago. Now you had Yolanda from LSBOP. We're going to continue this trend. So you want to make sure you're tuned in to the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. This will get repurposed on YouTube for anybody that missed it. I'm sorry. And then Yolanda, any last information you want to give out before we get off? I'm going to put Yolanda's contact information up here right now, so you can reach out to Yolanda Jackson and all the great things that she's doing for the city of Augusta.
Thank you. My final thoughts would really just to be that I know the world of certification can be confusing because there's so many different types, and you don't know the difference between what's race conscious and race neutral and what they mean. So I just want to encourage you to not be scared off by the eligibility requirements. Don't be scared off by the documents that they require you to submit, because in all honesty, regardless of what certification you're seeking, you're going to have to submit, pretty much the same or similar documents across the board, no matter the type of certification. And the other thing I wanted to also stress was I talked about that all of the certifications that we talked about today have no fee. But now, if you wanted to speak with a consultant who can go over your application, who can, make sure that you have everything that you need, because what happens is, if you submit an incomplete application, you don't provide the information, or you don't understand exactly what they're asking you for, and your application is denied, a lot of times, if you are actually denied, you have to wait a year, 6 months to a year before you can even reapply. So if you wanted to hire a consultant or someone to look over it for you to make sure that you have crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's, then by all means, you can do that. But the certification themselves that we've talked about are free. So I just want to say, that you want to make sure that you can do that. That would be okay to do that, but just be mindful of that. And then again, I can't stress enough that when you are certified in whatever program it is, make sure you keep your certification up to date. Make sure that you keep your contact information up to date, because once you go on these lists and these prime contractors start looking at the list, if they go down the list and your information is incorrect, they're going to skip right over you and go to the next person. So make sure that you're keeping that information updated. And then my final thought would be, in the lines of talking about keeping that information updated, I always share this story when I do workshops, when I do trainings. I always share the story about how important it is to keep your certifications intact. When I was working at GDOT, there was a company who allowed their certification to lapse, simply for not sending in the annual update information, and they were decertified. They lost their certification. Well, the opportunity came up for them to work on a project, but by the time the project was awarded, they were no longer certified. And this company missed out on an opportunity that cost them about $1.2 million, because they were the only They were the only sub that could provide that service. Wow. So just when you think it's not important, you'll see real quick that it was important. And then, and so when they called the office, I was like, I can't help you. You got to wait a year before you can come back in. That's just the nature of the beast. So it's important to keep those things updated. Don't cost you any money. It just costs you a little bit of time to get some paperwork together. So, don't be the company that misses out on an opportunity simply because you didn't turn in your annual update information. So that's my final thought. And again, Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Run It.
Thank you. All great tips, Yolanda. You're just such a wealth of information. So I just love talking to all the departments always and just hearing like all the people we have to help our small business owners. Just wanted to reiterate that. And, as a chamber organization, we always are encouraging our business owners to take time, at least at the end of that month, and like set aside time to do those things, like applying for the grants, applying for the certifications, get those things that you haven't got done. If you can't hire a consultant, a lot of us are business consultants too and project managers. So we understand that, if you do need to hire a consultant, then go ahead and do it so that you can have those things in place and get those things done effectively. Or sometimes you just don't have the time, so you need to pass it off. So sometimes that's also the case. But whatever, way that fits your business, we want you to be successful. We want you to continue to grow, whatever your level of needs may be. So that is what we're doing here as an organization. And I appreciate you for taking the time this morning to give us all this information. We look forward to, of course, working with the compliance department. We appreciate you guys for being a member as well of the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. I also wanted to just put their website up again. So make sure you go to the website. This is specifically for Augusta, Georgia. So if you're a business in Augusta, Georgia, the LSBO program is open to you. We do service the whole CSR area. So I just wanted to make sure that I just say that again. And then we're looking to, of course, get the other entities on so we can start talking about South Carolina and so forth as well, so we can continue to spread this information. So Yolanda, I thank you for the time today. Of course, if you guys are interested in joining the chamber, go directly to our website. We will be celebrating our anniversary soon. So a lot of great things will be happening. And the website is under development again. So yes, we're getting ready to change our site again. So this will be like the third version of it. But yeah, so you'll see some new things on the site as well. So just get ready. We're listening to all you guys' feedback. So a lot of great things will be coming and you'll see rolled out from the Greater Augusta Black Chamber of Commerce. Okay, well, thank you, Yolanda. I bid everyone a good day. Remember, we are one community and one voice. Have a great one.
Thank you.